welcome to Write Club PHX. Karla Habbershaw, get behind the microphone. Don't get set up. Karla, with birth.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Write Club audience, are you ready? Here we go. Karla Habbershaw with birth in 3, 2, 1. Begin.
So they wanted me to talk about birth. The first thing that comes to mind is Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Just stay with me on this one, I promise. I think of this monster created by a man for a reason. Think for a moment how he dedicated his life to giving birth. Most women only spend 9 months preparing for the miracle, but not Victor. He put in the time, studying the science, collecting the body parts, building and breathing life into clay so that his dream to be the god who ruled over one could be realized. And it was realized. But in the same moment, this man unlocked the miracle of birth. His sin was also born. His sin was not the manufactured birth of his creature, and was certainly not the poor creature themselves. It was obvious to me that Victor's sin was in abandoning the life he created, and in that action he birthed a monster. So I guess all this is to say that birth, natural or manufactured, accidental or severely purposeful, at its core, it is neutral. To be born to the world, to be born into one's own purpose, to be born into a new stage of life, to be born is just a process. That is not to take away from the power of it all. After all, it powers us all. It is just to say birth is only the beginning of the human condition. A tiny moment in the grand scheme of our lives. We are unborn to this world for most of time, and then we are born in an instant, in a miraculous process that inspires tears of pain and tears of joy, a process that leaves you more alive than ever, left to figure out what that means for the rest of your small version of eternity. Heavy is the weight of existence. But when you start to feel like the meaning of life is too heavy, too large, when your life and the purpose behind it feel like a crushing weight, as your ego tells you there has to be a reason, you have to have a purpose, you haven't done enough yet, you may never do enough, the carbon in this human shell may end up a waste after all, when the miracle of your birth and sudden existence weighs on your mind, just stop. Stop and breathe and try to remember that the birth of the universe happened in a fraction of a second, in less time than it takes you to take a breath. All of the energy in all of the universe was birthed in the Big Bang. All of the potential energy came bursting out from a single point, perfectly organized, but fated to collapse. Organization that fell way to chaos. That chaos looked a lot like planets. Atmospheres looked a lot like stars, and the earth, a lot like the earth that we know, the plants we see, the waves we feel, the wind and the breeze, and most incredibly, it looked a lot like people. You and me, all destined to be the chaos born out of order. In Frankenstein, a little literal bolt zapped right into the heart of his creation. If death comes to get the living, to claim them and drag them away from this plane, kicking and screaming, then I would like to propose that we come to get life through birth. Our souls, rushing and swirling, potential energy, begging for order, in a bolt of lightning implanted into our moment in time, our moment in space, ever expanding. But I gotta say, it's quite different on this side of birth. I can't help but to think, if I was a new soul, unborn, and I knew everything I know now, I can't promise that I would come back to you. I can't promise giving two choices, one big red button that said BIRTH, birth in capital letters. I would choose that over the one that said impossibly, stay a new soul forever, coasting on the ether, no physical body to tie you down, no life to screw up, no mistakes, no pain to go through, no skin knees, no sunsets, no forgiveness, no guilt, no grief, no pleasure, no pain, no life. No BIRTH, birth in capital letters, no. I can't say I would choose birth, but apparently I did choose birth. If there was a choice involved in that, which I have to believe there is, because I have to believe that the caged bird sings. I have to believe that birth is a process by which our souls are freed and not oppressed in these bodies. I have to believe that birth is a gift. I have to believe that the process I went through, the pain of my mother, the carbon in this body has a purpose and not a waste. I have to believe that there's a choice there, that there is a purpose here. I may be biased, speaking from my small moment in eternity, miraculously human already, but hey, you asked me to talk about birth.
Karla Habbershaw with Birth. Our Canadian writer, Combatant.